Hey guys, good night, good night, good night. I want to welcome you to tonight's presentation. I'm pumped, excited to go right into tonight's content because tonight's content represent over 12 years of research, over 12 years of painstakingly tweeting to what we believe is going to be shared in tonight's presentation. I'm Dr. Ben Yisrael of the Institute of Boston Institute of Natural Medicine and of the Hallelujah Lifestyle Wellness Center. So without further delay, let's go right into tonight's presentation. All right. So I want to start out by looking at the need for a medicinal system that, of course, is our own. For us to get or to grasp or to fully appreciate what we have put together, we have to first look at the historical context as to why what we're going to share with you is relevant. And so, indigenous peoples, the Caribbean was inhabited by various indigenous groups, such as the Taino, the Arawak, and of course, the Caribs. European colonization has led to the marginalization and the suppression of indigenous healing practices. Yes, my friends, colonization has pushed to the back burner the ancient wisdom of our ancestors that has kept us alive for decades. And so, what we have found is that this has been done for the most part so that Western medicine could have been successfully transplanted as that safe and effective option to our health care. And so, we're not here to knock Western medicine, but what we have seen is that there is, in recent years, a resurgent of interest in indigenous medicinal practices. This, of course, is because, especially for those of us in the Caribbean, it is what we have trusted. It is what has worked for us over the years. But there are, of course, a number of weak links. But for the most part, there has been a trust. Whereas in recent time, there has been the recall of so many drugs and so many pharmaceuticals. There has never been a recall of a particular herb. All right. And this doesn't say that there are not issues as it relates to dosages and that there are not dangers involved as it relates to natural medicine. But there has been no herb that I know of that has ever been recalled. And so that trust in pharmaceutical drugs, as well as the side effects, has led to a resurgence of interest in natural healthcare and in particular herbs. There has been a growing global interest in holistic wellness, with travelers seeking authentic experiences that promote physical, mental, and spiritual well being. In 2022, the wellness market was estimated to be worth over $639 billion globally. And so this has set the stage, this has proven that there is definitely a benefit for us as people of the Caribbean, that definitely there is a market for persons for this product in the Caribbean. And so we here at the Hallelujah Lifestyle Wellness Center and the Boston Institute of Natural Medicine saw the opportunity for wellness tourism, but we saw a number of pitfalls. And so that is why we have carefully crafted the product and the presentation that we're going to be sharing with you. All right. And so Indigenous Caribbean Medicine is the name that we have coined. As a matter of fact, it was the name that was coined by one of our students, Maurice Carr, in one of our first classes when one of the assignment was, what name do you think would have been the most befitting name for a medicine that is reflective of the Caribbean culture? This was a name that he shared, and ever since it has stuck with us. It resonated with us, and so I want to give props to Maurice Kahn, one of our first students, for coming up with this name because it so well captures what this medicine represents. Indigenous medicine, which is the medicine of the Caribbean people. But what exactly is indigenous Caribbean medicine? Indigenous Caribbean medicine refers to the traditional healing practices, knowledge, and beliefs of the indigenous people of the Caribbean region. It is a combination of herbal medicine, spiritual rituals, and holistic approaches. And so this medicine is truly a part of the culture of the Caribbean. As diverse and as unique as the Caribbean is, out of many one people, it is truly reflective in the medicine that is uniquely from the Caribbean. And so indigenous Caribbean medicine is not just based on herbal medicine. It is based on the spiritual rituals as well as the holistic approaches of our ancestors. And so we have moved beyond just indigenous Caribbean medicine to promote what we call the Indigenous Caribbean Medicine Initiative. But what exactly is the Indigenous Caribbean Medicine Initiative? The Indigenous Caribbean Medicine Initiative is, first of all, an intentional drive to, first of all, present indigenous medicine as a safe and effective healthcare option to those who choose and trust it. I mean, most formal education ministries, whereas they will not whereas they will not promote herbal medicine, in many cases they do badmouth it. And we believe that this is the medicine that has kept us alive, and we believe that this is not only a disservice but it's also a disrespect to our ancestors because this represents the wisdom of our ancestors that has kept us alive up until now. We see where respect is paid to the language. We see where respect is paid to the music. We see where respect is paid to the food. But of course, enough respect is not paid to the medicine. And so we believe that as a government or as a government collectively, the most that these governments can do to at least show that they respect the memory of our ancestors and the work of our ancestors is to promote indigenous Caribbean medicine or allow indigenous Caribbean medicine to be practiced as a safe and effective healthcare option to those who choose and trust it. So that's the number one goal of this initiative. Number two is to make this healthcare option available to members of the Caribbean diaspora as well as the world with all the value added derivatives, with all the products and the byproducts. Our initiative is to see indigenous medicine being available to members of the Caribbean. Hence our drive, because these initiatives require what we call action plan, not just a concept, not just a philosophy, but what we call to action movements. And so the third one is to continue to promote, preserve, and protect this wisdom for generations to come. And so these are the three prongs, main prongs. There are others, but these are the three main prongs of the Indigenous Caribbean Medicine Initiative. And so because of that, we know that there are a number of work that must be done, and there are a number of projects that must be completed successfully to facilitate this initiative. And so that is one of the reasons why I'm excited about tonight's presentation, because tonight we're going to share with you what are some of those projects that we have achieved and how we have woven them together to put a program like this together. And so what have we achieved so far? What have we achieved as the Boston Institute of Natural Medicine, as well as the Hallelujah Lifestyle Wellness Center? Well, for one, we have organized a standardization system for studying and using Caribbean herbs. That's right. For the most part, persons who go to different practitioners will hear this and they will hear that. But of course, there is no standardization. And I'm going to go into each of these achievements in more detail. So I'm not going to talk too much on any one of them. But we have organized a standardization system for studying and using Caribbean herbs. We have created a training program for practitioners based on 6 major identified sectors. So, over the years that I've been practicing, I've identified 6 major independent sectors that persons can go into independently or collectively or as they see the need to. But there are 6 major identifiable sectors that we have identified and that we ensure that this training program covers. So persons are equipped in all 6, but they can choose which one or which combinations they would want to pursue. We have created a telemedicine model to deliver the service of indigenous Caribbean medicine. So not only have we put together a training program for practitioners, gone are the days when persons are limited by geographical locations. We're living in an age where technology basically is involved in everything that we do. And so we believe indigenous Caribbean medicine is no excuse to that. Even though we ensure that the principles are based on traditional principles, the delivery of those principles and the delivery of that knowledge, of course, has been carefully woven into technology. Number 4, we have created a platform for the delivery of professional grade nutritional supplements. And you'll hear more about that. We have put together a group, a list of products that were carefully formulated based on professional grade nutritional standards and were manufactured in FDA approved facilities. And these ensure top quality supplements that have proven to be effective. And so these are now things that we have put together to ensure the success of the Indigenous Caribbean Medicine Initiative, and of course to provide tools for those persons who we are introducing into this industry. We have created a mentoring program that will facilitate guided and supervised hands-on training of all practitioners. This guided program will also allow students, most importantly, to earn while they learn. This is one of the reasons why I'm so excited to share with you tonight's presentation, because what we have is not just an opportunity to earn, it's an opportunity to learn and to earn at the same time. From day one, from the get-go, you can be learning while you are earning. And I am so excited to go more in depth with you further on in the presentation. Our next objective, and we're working on this, is for the creation of an international peer-to-peer certification body comprising leaders of indigenous communities, various fields in academia and medicine. Now, because our program is based on the practices of our ancestors and it is based on indigenous principles, we believe that there is no higher certifying body than a certifying body comprising of actual leaders, of actual elders, of actual persons within the indigenous community space. And so we have sought to partner with indigenous leaders here in Jamaica. We have Chief Richard Curry from the state of Akompong, who has given us full endorsement, and we are still pursuing other indigenous communities, because our goal is not just to represent one indigenous community. The truth is the Caribbean is a melting pot, and so there are indigenous communities uh, spanning the Arawak, spanning the Tainos. We want to get into those communities and involve those leaders as well, because the goal is to share the wisdom of these indigenous communities with the members of the Caribbean as well as the diaspora. So our certifying body will comprise leaders of indigenous communities, various fields in academia and medicine, because indigenous Caribbean medicine cannot only be based on historical indigenous practices. It must be based on sound science. It must be based on ethical, moral, and professional principles that give integrity to the program. And so you'll hear more about this in time to come. But of course, this is the next achievement that we are pursuing. And I should say that we are making significant strides in this area. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the work that we are doing. And so that is one of the reasons why we are saying to persons who are seeking to pursue a program where they can learn the wisdom of our ancestors in a way that is practical, this is the way to go. And so let me go a little more in depth. And so we have organized a standardization system for studying and using Caribbean herbs. The reality is that our ancestors were able to identify the medicinal uses of plants. Now, whereas our ancestors were not able to identify these phytochemicals by name, they were able to quite skillfully capture the medicinal uses of plants. Now, what we see is science over the years constantly substantiating the claims and substantiating the use of our ancestors. This is because our ancestors possessed a unique skill where they were able, through observation as well as other skills, including the ability to taste plants and to determine their medicinal uses, they were able to quite accurately capture the medicinal uses of plants. And so these are some of the wisdom we have put together. We have organized what we call the 12 Medicinal Herb Taste Guide. This standardization system is based on the wisdom of our ancestors. And so it allows us not only to help our students to be able to identify the medicinal uses of plants based on taste, we go beyond that by also educating our students as to the phytochemicals responsible for those tastes. And so, for example, our ancestors knew that plants that were mucilaginous, plants that had a lot of mucilage, are plants that are used to soothe and to add moisture and to get rid of toxins. Most of these plants, mucilaginous plants, carry these properties. We go a little further by explaining to our students what are the properties, the phytochemicals that are responsible for that. Our ancestors knew that astringent plants were able to arrest discharge, was able to arrest all types of tissue stagnation. They knew the properties of these plants. They knew that salty plants was able to nourish the body and break up masses and gently detoxify the cells of the body. Now, our ancestors, as I said, did not know the names of these chemicals, but they were able to accurately determine the uses of these plants. Their body was the testing labs. Their body and their senses were the tools that they used to interact and to determine the medicinal uses of these plants. These are some of the wisdom that we teach our students, that they are able to determine the medicinal use of plants using this standardization system, this ancient standardization system. And so just from this chart alone, students will be exposed to over 60 Caribbean herbs that is based on this system, and they are encouraged to continue to add to this catalog. I by no means believe that what I've produced or what I have here is an exhaustive work. What I have done is I have laid the groundwork. I have laid the skeletal system for other great minds to add to that skeletal system to develop a body that will be a blessings to us for generations to come. It will allow persons who are outside of the scope financially to afford certain medications to have an option. This is one of the reasons why I'm promoting, because I believe the next great crisis is going to be a food and medicine crisis. As we advance in this sixth industrial revolution, what we're going to find is a disparity between the rich and the poor. And so a lot of poor people will not be able to afford health care. And so it will be a blessing when there is an option based on plants and other natural minerals that are readily available. All right. And so, yes, we have organized this standardization system. One of the things that I am most grateful for this standardization system is the fact that this standardization system will help practitioners from other systems to be able to substitute for herbs that they don't have using herbs that we have, because we have a standardization system. And so persons who practice traditional Chinese medicine who move to the Caribbean, who may want to practice their traditional Chinese medicine, who may not find their raw material readily being available, because we have a standardization system for indigenous Caribbean medicine, they can use our standardization system to find substitutes to replace those that are not readily available. For persons who come to the Caribbean practicing Ayurvedic medicine, who can't find the raw materials, because we have a standardization system, they will be able to substitute materials that they can't find from our herbal based, because we have a standardization system. And so this lends itself to a number of diversity. But yes, what we have done is that we have organized a standardization system for studying and using Caribbean herbs. In the past, we have had many books, many authors that have put out a lot of herbs. But I believe it's the first we're having a system that will allow persons for themselves to determine the medicinal uses of our plants as our ancestors were able to do. And so our Indigenous Caribbean Medicine Initiative, even though our goal is to train practitioners and there's a cost involved, we also have a goal to educate the populace, to educate persons who may not want to go as deep as learning herbs to the point that they want to become practitioners, but want to edify themselves, want to learn enough for self-help. We do have a platform for that as well. And there's going to be a link in the description of this video. And that, of course, is the KINDAH Wellness Community, in which we help persons to learn the usage of herbs and to identify herbs in their wild state. We have created a training program for practitioners based on 5 major identified sectors. And so I say 5, but I've now upgraded that to 6 major sectors. And so these are the major sectors. Herb harvesters, persons who may choose just to focus on harvesting herbs in a sustainable way so that these herbs can be available to the community. Formulators, persons who may want to focus on the skill of formulating herbal compounds so that they can be available to the community. Dispensers, persons who believe that there is a need and they may have a passion to ensure that they dispense herbal compounds in a responsible way, ensuring that there are no contraindications. Then there are consultants, persons who are passionate about guiding persons and helping persons as it relates to their health and choosing the right healthcare options for themselves. Then, of course, there is content creators, persons who believe that based on what they have learned, there is a need to make this information be made available on an international scene or work in relation to these other areas to ensure that if they have websites or if they have seminars or if they need content, they can be sourced from persons. One of the thing that we are aiming for is, of course, among all of these persons, because the training is designed to ensure that the knowledge necessary to ensure that these persons are skillful is being shared with everybody. There is going to be a uniformity among these persons who may choose to pursue one or any combination of the six major sectors here. Of course, the last one being herb tour guides. We have realized that there is a great demand for persons outside of the Caribbean to learn and to acquire that knowledge to be able to know the usage of plants. And so there are a lot of persons who want to come to Jamaica, want to come to the Caribbean so that they can acquire this knowledge. We have created a telemedicine model to deliver the service of indigenous Caribbean medicine. And so we believe that in the time that we are in, nobody should be limited to just being in one geographical location. No, we have created a model that we want to share with you that will allow you to sit in one area and deliver your knowledge, deliver your product, deliver that service anywhere across the globe. And so that is one of the what we have done. And so we have also created a platform for the delivery of professional grade supplements, which is our ICM Wellness Marketplace. The website is icmwellnessmarketplace.com. This is where you will find our supplements. This is where you will find courses, workshops. This is where you will find the consultations that you can purchase and so many more to come. But this platform is the culmination of the different products and services that we have available where you can go and access those. And this is just phenomenal because there's so many other features that I won't get the time to go into, but there's so many other features that come in that there's one, however, that I don't want to forget, and I'm going to mention it later on in this presentation. We have created a mentoring program that will facilitate guided and supervised hands-on training of all practitioners. This guidance program will also allow students to earn while they learn. Now, what are the features of indigenous Caribbean medicine? Even though we are operating and delivering this wisdom in a technologically advanced space, we still want to retain certain authentic nature, certain authentic features of indigenous Caribbean medicine. One of them is the fact that indigenous practitioners would pass on the knowledge through a relational structure. It was more of a relational structure than it was a classroom setting. And so, as much as is possible, we wanted to model that. And so, what we have done is we have created a mentoring program that I'm going to talk more about later on in this presentation, why we have done it that way and why we believe it's going to be more effective. But of course, we have that mentoring program that will ensure that our training is based on relationship, not just a distance educational system. It's based on relationship. And so for you to understand that, let me just go through the two main means of assessment. One of them is what is called the ongoing assessment method. Now, we have decided to use an ongoing method of assessment rather than a baseline assessment method. What is an ongoing assessment method? The ongoing assessment method is the process by which students get feedback on what to do based on clearly articulated criteria for successful performance. It is, in essence, the process of reflecting on performances in order to gauge progress toward understanding goals. On the other hand, there is the baseline method. Now, the baseline assessment method is pretty much a snapshot in time of your ability. And to bring this home, let me give you an example. Here in Jamaica, for years, we had what was called the Common Entrance Examination. Now, the Common Entrance Examination was an exam administered to students at the end of their primary education primary education period, and this exam was designed to determine where that students would be placed. And so one of the challenges with that is that a number of students, parents, the community on a whole would see to a great extent that a lot of students were placed in schools that were not befitting of their performance. The reality is that because of the pressure involved, because of the expectation involved of those students, a lot of students would not perform at their optimum. This snapshot of a particular time in their life was not truly the best way to evaluate the student's ability. In most cases, students were nervous, students had anxiety. In some instances, students had, health issues, and so they would not perform well. And teachers noted that, students noted that, parents noted that, and so it wasn't a true reflection of the student's ability. And so our government decided to move away from that method and decided instead to use the ongoing assessment method. In this method, what they have chosen to do is to start the assessment period at a particular time in the child's life, mostly over a 2-year period, in some instances over a 3-year period. And so this ongoing assessment was a better reflection of the student's true ability. This is exactly what we're doing. This ongoing assessment method is going to be a minimum of 800 hours of guided and supervised hands-on training instead of our previous 6 weeks internship program, which would just give us a snapshot of the student's ability. We had a number of challenges with that, including the fact that in most cases, a lot of students were not able to take all that time off to do the assessment. Coupled with that was the fact that a lot of students had financial issues paying for that additional training period. And so the challenges went on and on and on. We also looked at our model in which we operate, because we also operate clinics, and we saw some inefficiencies, we saw some deficiencies. One of them being the fact that because of the fact that we have limited persons who are trained in indigenous Caribbean medicine, and because of its effectiveness, we are constantly getting new clients. One of the things that I hate, if there's anything that I hate about what I do, is the fact that sometimes I'm not able to follow up with clients as I would want to. We've thought about different ways and different scenarios in which this could be done. One of them would be for clients to pay additionally for that follow-up. This, of course, was not a level playing field because there are so many persons who can't afford that. And we don't believe that the success of a healthcare program should be hinged on the ability or the inability of a person's finances. And so we spend a lot of time thinking through the process, thinking through a solution that would be a win-win for everybody. And so what we saw was the new program that we have, which is the ongoing assessment program. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in this presentation. So what does our present structure look like? In our present structure, students would just go to our student platform and purchase a module, watch the videos, complete the assignments, and then move on. In many cases, we have seen that this is very effective because a lot of the students, because of the nature of the content, are not able to grasp it, can't relate to it, and so they lose attention, we lose them, and a lot of students do not move on through the course as we would want to or as they would want to, because the truth is the information that they are getting is not information that they can relate to. So how do we create a system where students have no problem going through these videos because they can relate to the content? These are some of the questions that we have asked, and these are the questions that have led us to why we have gone through the restructuring of how we deliver our program. Now, because of the restructuring, a critical component to that restructuring was the fact that we now require students to pay a monthly subscription based on membership. And I'll explain to you, because a lot of persons hate subscription, a lot of persons don't like subscription, and many of them have good reasons why they shouldn't. Well, what we are saying about this subscription is, number one, this subscription is not intended to be an out-of-pocket cost to you. The reason for that is because this is how our program will work. From day one, when students start our program, so after watching, if you've watched this presentation, you say, yeah, I'm excited, I'm fired up, I'm ready to go. What you will be required to do is to first register for our telemedicine training. So the first thing we do is we go through a telemedicine training in which we equip you with the tools as to how to actually set up a telemedicine consultation. Now, once you learn the skills and you have some tools to work with, what actually happens is that you are only required to carry out the manual tasks and responsibilities of registering a student and ensuring that they are properly connected to the assessment device, because there is an assessment device that we use in our delivery of Indigenous Caribbean medicine. This assessment device is a biofeedback machine, and this biofeedback machine allows us to determine, it allows us first of all to assess and guides us in determining the protocol that we will create for our clients. Now, from day one, this is a tool that you will be exposed to. Your job as a student will be to properly ensure that the client is connected and all the relevant information is collected to put them on the device. Once you do that, you will now observe, because what happens is we will now employ our telemedicine portion of the program, in which myself or my wife, because so far we are the only two consultants skillful enough to deliver Indigenous Caribbean medicine or to function as consultants as it relates to Indigenous Caribbean medicine. And so what happens is that we will, through a telemedicine structure, do the consultation. The student is only required to observe. Now, because the consultation is done by myself or my wife, it will be a paid consultation. Normally, we charge anywhere between $100 to $150 for a consultation. That fee will be split 50-50 between the student and the consultant. So from day one, you start earning. You are being paid just to observe, just to learn. That's what you are being paid for. At the end of the consultation, there are going to be products recommended. And so you, the student, will, in addition to ensuring that the client is properly connected to the device, you, the student, will also register as an affiliate to our Indigenous Caribbean Wellness Marketplace website. That registration as an affiliate allows you to now recommend, using a link that will be created for you, you will be able to recommend clients to products using that link, once clients make purchase, you will also earn additional commission. So in addition to earning from consultations, you will also earn commissions from the sale of products. This is to ensure that you take this serious because we realize that there is a demand for the services. There is an increasing demand for the services. And right now, we are, as it may be, overburdened. And so, in a very quick way, we are looking for persons who can join our team as consultants. And so, we want you to be rewarded. So, for persons who are not working from day one, this is an opportunity to start earning. And so this is what makes this program so phenomenal. This is what makes this program so wonderful because it allows persons to earn and learn at the same time. Now, this is something that scares a lot of persons. A lot of persons sees an 8 weeks diploma in Indigenous Caribbean medicine and sees the tag 1,599.95 was 2,999.95, now is 1,599. This is for persons who want to make a one-time payment. So they'll be getting 46% in savings. However, we still have a better plan. If it is that you can't afford all of this, and by the way, let me just talk about this before I go down here. If it is that you want to, if it is that you are from the US and you want to choose this option, then you can go ahead and choose this option because what this is a partner that we have that offers what we call payment plans to our customers. So what they will do is that this is the overall cost. They will pay that overall cost for you and you will pay them back $144 monthly. And if you click view more, you will also see other plans. But if this $144 is too much for you, we have also created our own payment plan where you can pay a monthly subscription of only $96. So you are saving 93%. We have thought, or we have tried to think about everything possible to make this a possibility for you. So not only have we put together a payment plan, we have also put together a plan where this money doesn't have to come out of your pocket. By seeing one person for the month or two persons for the month, not only will you cover your subscription, you will be in profit. And so we believe this represents a phenomenal product that is a win-win for everybody. Now, as I said to you, that one of our challenges has been following up. Now, this is what happens. Not only will you, as students, find clients that can help you to offset the cost of the program, but the clinics that we operate, and we operate about 4 clinics here in Jamaica. From these clinics, we are going to be placing clients, pairing clients with students so that our students can be the go-between. Every information that we want to relay to our client will go through the student. Every information from the client to us will come through the student. And if and when it is required, we may have a three-way. This is to ensure that the student, who is the medium through which information is being passed, is learning as they go along. And so when we thought about this, thought about a program, how could we improve the follow-up with our clients? We have thought about it, but there is no solution that we could come up with that would not involve our clients paying additional for that service. But because of this symbiotic relationship, we believe that we have come up with a solution because we are using students to help with the follow-up. Clients will not have to pay for this service. And so this represents a win-win for all the stakeholders And we are super excited about that. We are elated about that because we believe that this is not only will be of benefit to our clients, but it would add value to the experience and the healthcare of our clients. And so if what you have heard you're excited about, all you need to do is click the link in the description of this video. Two links will be there. One will be to register for our telemedicine training program, and the other will be a link to join the KINDAH Wellness community. So if it is that you hear and you say, sounds great, but I just want the knowledge for personal use, then guess what? All you need to do is to join our KINDAH Wellness community. It's absolutely free, where where the learning process continues. And so we have the Indigenous Caribbean Medicine Initiative is an initiative not only to promote but to preserve this knowledge. And one way of preserving that is to ensure that the populace values that knowledge. One way for the populace to value that knowledge is to provide it to them. And so I want to thank you for being on. If this presentation was a blessing to you, then please comment, please share this video, and look out for our upcoming webinars, look for our upcoming workshops, and if you're ready to go, just go to the description of this video, click the registration to the telemedicine training workshop, and I'll see you on the other side of the finish line. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.